It must be really incredible to be part of building, actually here, not just building houses, but building a community.
You're in there, just talk to us! Talk to us, we just talk to us!
To take tough but right decisions on national insurance contributions and ending the tax break for farmers.
Keir Starmer, once hailed as Labour's great hope, now finds himself in hot water. His recent encounter with protesting farmers has left many questioning his leadership and integrity. What really happened during that fateful event, and why are people accusing Starmer of gaslighting the nation? The answers might shock you, and they reveal a disturbing pattern in modern British politics. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. As Keir Starmer made his way to a housing development in Milton Keynes, he likely anticipated a routine promotional visit. Little did he know that he was about to walk into a political powder keg that would ignite a firestorm of controversy. The Labour leader's carefully orchestrated event quickly spiralled into chaos as a group of angry farmers descended upon the scene, demanding answers about Labour's agricultural policies.
It must be really incredible to be part of building, actually here, not just building houses, but building a community.
Eyewitnesses described the atmosphere as tense and volatile. Farmers, already frustrated by the prospect of losing tax breaks under Labour's proposed policies, saw this as their chance to confront Starmer directly. Their concerns were not unfounded. The potential increase in costs for farmers could have far-reaching consequences, potentially leading to higher food prices for consumers across the UK. As the situation unfolded, it became clear that this was more than just a localised protest. The farmers' grievances reflected a broader discontent within the agricultural sector, highlighting the growing anxiety about the sustainability of farming in the face of changing government policies. One farmer's pointed criticism cut to the heart of the matter, accusing Starmer of misrepresenting the situation.
I was there obviously to look at a new development, a very exciting development just outside Milton Keynes, which is going to be homes for very many people, maintain the tax break for farmers, and people watching this will understand that that is a choice.
He's lying. He's saying tax break, but it's not a tax break. It's a new tax on farmers' land and homes who provide the food. Another farmer's comment revealed the deep-seated frustration with Labour's environmental policies. Actually, they could have both if Labour dropped the incomprehensible net zero that would save billions and everyone could get a tax break. This statement underscored the growing divide between Labour's vision for the future and the practical concerns of those working in agriculture.
And yes, there was a protest there, and to some extent that draws out quite an important discussion that we have to have. What you can't have is interest rates coming down, the growth we need in the economy, your waiting list coming down.
As the farmers' voices grew louder and their demands more insistent, all eyes turned to Starmer. How would the Labour leader respond to this unexpected challenge? Would he seize the opportunity to engage with the protesters, addressing their concerns head-on and potentially winning over a crucial demographic? In a move that would come to define this encounter, Starmer chose avoidance over confrontation. Instead of facing the farmers and their grievances, he made a hasty retreat through a back exit, cutting short his promotional visit and leaving a trail of unanswered questions in his wake. The implications of this decision were immediate and far-reaching.
You're in there, just talk to us! Talk to us, we just talk to us!
By fleeing from the farmers, Starmer not only missed an opportunity to address their concerns, but also handed his critics a powerful narrative. The image of a political leader literally running away from the very people he claims to represent is a potent one, and it's not easily forgotten. Just when you thought Keir Starmer's farmer fiasco couldn't get any worse, he opened his mouth. In a jaw-dropping interview following the incident, Starmer attempted to douse the flames of controversy, but instead poured petrol on the fire. His explanation for the decision to end tax breaks for farmers left many scratching their heads and others fuming with disbelief. Starmer, in what can only be described as a masterclass in political spin, decided to link the farmers' tax breaks to NHS waiting times and mortgage rates. Yes, you read that right. In his own words, Starmer claimed, "You can't have interest rates coming down."
Because we passed a budget in the autumn of last year that had to do two things: to take tough but right decisions on national insurance contributions and ending the tax break for farmers.
Your waiting list coming down and maintain the tax break for farmers. It's a statement that would make even the most seasoned political commentators do a double take. But wait, there's more. Starmer, seemingly oblivious to the logical leaps he was making, went on to justify his government's actions by stating, "We passed a budget that had to do two things. The first was to stabilise and balance the books, the economy, and the second was to invest in things like our NHS and in housing." It's as if he's playing a game of political Jenga, stacking unrelated issues on top of each other and hoping the whole thing doesn't come crashing down. The public reaction to Starmer's comments was swift and merciless. Social media erupted with criticism, with one user aptly summing up the general sentiment. What a ridiculous statement by Starmer to align two separate issues into one. He is talking utter bollocks. It seems the public isn't buying what Starmer's selling, and they're not shy about saying so.
The first was to stabilise and balance the books, the economy. Early figures that are welcome. Obviously, the interest rates were cut for the third time since we've been in government last week.
Another social media user hit the nail on the head, pointing out the flaws in Starmer's logic. Actually, they could have both if Labour dropped the incomprehensible net zero that would save billions and everyone could get a tax break. It's a reminder that there are always alternative solutions, something Starmer seems to have conveniently forgotten. But perhaps the most damning criticism came from those who saw through Starmer's attempt to frame the issue as a choice between farmers' tax breaks and NHS waiting times. One astute observer noted, "Strange I don't remember Starmer saying, do they prefer waiting times in the NHS to come down or for train drivers to get an inflation-busting pay rise?"
And the second was to invest in things like our NHS and in housing, and also NHS figures that show that waiting lists are now down to the lowest level for 2 years.
It's a pointed reminder of the selective nature of Starmer's arguments and the inconsistencies in his policy positions. As the dust settles on this latest political blunder, accusations of gaslighting are beginning to circulate. Starmer's attempt to reframe the narrative has backfired spectacularly, leaving many to question not just his policies, but his integrity and ability to lead. His clumsy attempt to justify his actions has only served to deepen the divide between him and the public he claims to represent. As Keir Starmer's political fortunes continue to wane, the latest polling data paints a grim picture for the Labour Party. The once formidable support among rural voters has plummeted to a mere 28%, a far cry from the 45% they commanded in the previous election cycle. This stark decline isn't just a number on a page, it's a damning indictment of Starmer's leadership and his party's growing disconnect from its traditional base. The farmers' protest and Starmer's subsequent fumbling attempts at damage control have only exacerbated this rift. His hasty retreat and questionable justifications have left many wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Starmer's leadership aspirations? As voters grapple with broken promises and a perceived lack of accountability, the Labour Party finds itself at a crossroads. The question now is whether Starmer can navigate this crisis, or if he'll become another casualty of the tumultuous world of British politics.